So Kohei-san, Amy has brought up, a lot of interesting points on data integrity, the accessibility. Let's talk a little bit about privacy of data. And you are the expert in this field. Well, what are the main trends that you have been observing in different regions in the world, and also how do you see this data privacy debate evolving in Asia? Kohei-san.
Yeah, thank you, TJ, and yeah, great appreciated to organize this great conference. So the Amy is made a great presentation about the accessibilities. So my part is about the privacy. Of course, the privacy is the fundamental rights for all of us. Since the 1980s, the OECD has been started the basic principle, the 8th principle, the baselines of the data protection, such as the GDPR, is that started from the almost 3 years ago. It was a very strict regulation in Europe. Besides the last year has been started in California in the United States. It's a CCPA, the consumer privacy rights underlining for the California residents. Besides in Asian market, the Japan will be started the new amendment from the next April, as well as the China has been like making a new commitment for the privacy regulations. And the South Korea is try to take adequacies, which means the data transferring in between the Europe and South Korea, which is the strict relationship in between the bilateral countries. And the Asian market is in just the beginning to transform in a digital utilities, in accordance with those parts of the very significances to consider to use the data besides to protect the data, especially the human rights. The privacy is a very important point. The good example is just like Grab is the one of famous the ride sharing app in Asian market. They are losing customer data many times, and the Singapore the government is imposing very big issues for them. So why does it happen? That we are trying to use the digital services for our daily operations. Besides, through the COVID, we accelerated the societies to become a digital. So this is a very key part of the elements to protect the privacy. Besides, we have the granularities of the data utilization in terms of privacies. For example, the European people and American people has a different perspective of the privacy. Of course, we have a very different concept of the privacy in each Asian countries. Even I'm living in Japan, and in China, the South Korea, or other South Asian countries has a different perspective. So this is a very difficult because we are living on the internet. The internet is a borderless so far, but the problem is we have a different kind of concept of the data protections. I believe this is the ultimate of the consumer relations, and then each person has a different perspective of privacy, especially I'm a male, but the female has a different privacy concepts, or other disabled people is feeling the difference. So this is a very complex piece. How we can overcome is try to customize all the privacy concept. We have started to work on the privacy policy making. This is a touch point with the customers. When you are when you are consent the specific services, you have to approve this privacy agreement with the services is a very key part of it. However, still we haven't perfect privacy policy for all of this. So this is a very important. All the people is not aware what will be used to your data for the services. Sometimes it's been happens, the discriminations, something happens, just like the bad affections. Then this is a very significant at this time. So the privacy perspective. So we have to reconsider what kind of the privacy experience is the best for your customers and services, especially you use your data for the public services. The public institution has to commit to make more explainable actions for them. So this is the uncontroversial at this time. It's not just to say about the privacy, we have to commit more privacy-friendly approach for all the services.
Thank you very much, Kohei-san. Interesting to hear from you, really from the perspective that, country by country, the whole concept, the perspective of privacy differs, and therefore it creates that challenge in policy making. And I think really for technology at the speed that is advancing, it does seem sometimes that policy making is catching up to technology advancements, and that creates challenges. Since we are still on privacy, maybe let me continue, with you again, Kohei-san, before I go on to Amy to talk a little bit on the whole discrimination and accessibility. Kohei-san, when we talk about privacy and say entrepreneurs, because you have worked with the private sector, how and what would you recommend to our entrepreneurs, in terms of how can they better manage and embed privacy into their business models, and also what are the key factors that they need to take into account?
Yeah, that's very challenging for entrepreneurs as well as me. What I can recommend is just to focusing on the imaginations from the users. This is very important. Among the privacy industry, we often quoted the impact for the users. When we choose to select some data sets to be collected through your consent management, this sometimes your action has been a direct influences to the users. From the privacy perspective, you share your data to any third parties. Those party is untrusted. They will use the customer data unintentional consequences. That is not the fair for the users. So I strongly recommend it to all the services that try to seek the fairness in between the users and services and companies, that it brings a trusted. I guess this is very important. And also we are working on the privacy by design. This is coming from the Anne Kabukian. She is the former privacy commissioner in Canada. She quoted this concept in 2009, which was been an early adopter of the privacy default, is the privacy first, the services. So this is a primary things for all the companies to develop the ideas. The good case is just like the Salesforce is working on this part, then they are gathering the team internally, 2 or 3 or team members associated. They are trying to work from scratch to be a privacy concept into design. So this is a very important. They also try to convince the team other members, such as the business side, is try to take more literacies to seek the impact in advance. So this is a very important to work for the team, not just product management. It's just for the strategy for all the companies, even the startups that's working on this part is very important.
Thank you very much, Kohei-san. So something for entrepreneurs to think about privacy by design, starting really from the baseline and working it upwards as opposed to the other way around. Thank you. Really food for thought for us.